Have you started creating videos for your business? Do you know which social platforms are embracing video? And are your ideal customers absorbing video content, but you aren't present yet? These are only a few of the questions I dove into during my 5-day video challenge last week. There are various reasons that hold us back from pressing record. And on day 1, I review the importance of mindset challenges and how to overcome those. I also share tips for getting started with video on day 2, and on day 3, I review the importance of consistency with your video and all your content creation strategies. On day 4, I review video on the top 4 social platforms, including statistics, specs, and my examples on each of these platforms. We wrap it up on day 5, where we bring it home with topics to get started with your very first video. Or if you're stuck in finding topics, this day alone is worth your time. Today's episode, if you're listening on my Connect the Dots podcast, or if you're watching on this week's video on YouTube, it's all about the highlights I shared over the course of each of those 5 days last week during the video challenge. Are you interested? Maybe intrigued? You can click the link below the video or in the show notes and go watch each day in its entirety if this is of interest to you. But if you want to go get the highlights first, stay tuned and then click the link. Let's do this. So you can either write this down, or if you want to do a screenshot of this, you can do that as well. I bring this to our attention because when we have doubts and fears, if you don't put anything in motion to remove those, then all you're doing is manifesting more doubt and fear, right? So if you're like me, if I don't do something, not only am I continuing to think about it and creating more and more doubt and fear, but I'm also creating regret. Like, why didn't I start that? Or why didn't I do this? Or how did I not manage to do this? Whatever it is, the longer you put it off, the more you're manifesting those negative feelings and lack of action. So when there's no action, it breeds doubt and fear. But when you put something into action, it actually breeds confidence and courage. And we've all done this at some point in our lives. When you actually put something in action, you feel good about it, right? You're like, oh, I finally did that. When I first got consistent with my videos, it felt good. I was like, oh, okay, I finally made it happen. Okay, so the question you need to ask yourself now is, do you really want to be the one who says, I wish have started this last week, last month, last quarter, last year? Or would you rather be the one who takes action right now? So next year at this time, you can say, I love how my business has grown since last year, or I'm ecstatic at how easy it is to create great content all the time. And I can't believe how much time I now have to work in my business doing what I love and not on my business, doing things like marketing on LinkedIn. So you've probably seen those. You may have answered some of these. This was actually from a year ago. And this is more about the number one reason why people don't want to start something. And it could be anything. This isn't specific to video. But if you look at the reasons, the number one reason is there's too many other things to do, which means that now there are people who are, and I know because I've been there before, where your day is like packed with things that you have to do every single day. If you want to start something and you've got time to do that and you can manage it in your schedule realistically, then it's a matter of prioritizing it. How important is it for you to actually move forward with video in your business? And then you can see here the second, well, these are tied, but don't know where to begin and they let fear get in the way. This was a poll I did 9 months ago. What's the number one reason you don't create videos for your business? It's too time consuming. Again, it's a time constraint. Now, can you create more time in your day? You could. It just depends on what else you have going on. So again, it's a matter of looking at your schedule or looking at your days. And video doesn't have to be part of your everyday. Okay, so once you start creating and sharing, you're starting to build trust. The trust for your ideal customers is that you're going to provide value in video on a consistent basis. And I always like to look at this as, think of your favorite TV show. When you had a show like, Friends back in the day, it came on, I think it was Thursdays at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that, Eastern time. So, every week it was 8 o'clock, Friends is coming on. Now, what if all of a sudden Friends decided not to show up? I was waiting and it wasn't like, the holidays or, summer break or whatever, and they didn't show up. And all of a sudden they showed up on Tuesday, or they skipped 2 weeks and then they showed up on Wednesday. I very quickly, because I love Friends, would very quickly either stop watching them, or I would just replace that, time and just say, okay, well, I'll watch them when I can. I wouldn't become the fan or keep being the fan that I was, because they're not reliable. And if your days are full already, you will need to stop doing something to make room for creating videos, or create efficiencies in things that you're already doing to make room for time to create videos. Most successful leaders have this characteristic. Do you know what it is? It's grit. Grit is perseverance plus passion for achieving long-term goals. And thinking of videos, especially with like YouTube videos, you're going to want to think longer term, because there's a longer term strategy associated with this. Here's why people don't start creating videos. And some of these might look familiar, but we know that it's a mindset, right? And that's what we're talking about today. So mindset shifts can help improve your marketing, sales, and overall business results. With video marketing being the top type of content today, why would you not want to create content in video format? Here are the top 5 reasons why most people don't start making videos for their business. And this is through research I did. This wasn't through like a poll on LinkedIn or anything. It was just online research that I did. So they don't know where to begin, but you know what? It's because they don't have a plan. They're scared to be in front of the camera, and they fear being judged. They don't have the time to invest in creating videos until they focus on what's most important. So just think of the opportunity cost of not making more money. If you don't do video, it's going to help you build your business and take it to the next level, and you don't do that, not only are you not helping your ideal customers in whatever issues or problems that they need your help with, you're depriving them of those, right? Because you're not showing up in video, then you're also not making more money in your business. Okay. Could you still make that money? No, you could, but if you can make it easier, especially from a profitability standpoint of spending less time creating content, leveraging video to actually make it easier, then it just makes sense, right? It's good business. I get started with videos. I think it's important to always kind of put some framework around what we're doing, especially when you have third-party data like statistics and resources like this, just to kind of paint a picture as to why video is so important. And I'm using some frequently asked questions that I get. And I've also seen other people get, or actually question, like, why should I actually get started with video? And the first one is video content even effective at creating brand awareness? So you're looking at possibly expanding your market, or expanding your brand to find new people to work with or to help solve their problems. And video ads were the #1 way consumers discovered a brand they later purchased from. And there's a lot of data around this. People prefer to actually watch a video, or listen to or watch a testimonial. They want to see that, mostly because we don't have the patience to actually sit through and actually read and kind of do that. They want to see people. They want to hear the voice inflection. They want to see how passionate they are. And that is one way to help people make the decision to actually buy or take that next step in their buyer's journey. Another way is, does video capture attention in a memorable way? So if you've been creating content but haven't started creating videos yet for your business, there's a huge missed opportunity in your sales pipeline. There are different types of videos to consider. So tips for getting started, which is really what we're here for today, at your setup. Again, this can be super easy. All you need is your phone or your laptop, whichever one you want to use. And that's all you need to record. Your microphone on your phone or your laptop, you don't need a fancy microphone. I know in some of my videos, I have a lapel mic on. You don't need that either. You don't need to go buy anything else if you have a microphone on your phone or laptop that works. You just need to make sure that the quality is there. I remember, now I know yesterday I showed a screenshot of my very first video that I uploaded to YouTube, or at least the first one that's out there right now. I remember the recording of that and just the anxiety associated with remembering my lines, because I memorized it, wanting to make sure that it sounded like it came through authentic, not wanting to mess up because I had no idea how to do any type of editing outside of like just taking the beginning and ends off a video. And I just remember the amount of time that it took to actually get to that point. I think that video is like 1 minute, 20 seconds. It's not that long.
but just the anxiety of pressing record and knowing that I needed to do that, it was frustrating. So I know that feeling of not wanting to do it. But once I've got it done and I got it uploaded and served its purpose, I felt great. And now I can look back today versus then and see how far I've come. And that wasn't even being consistent in between there. If you look at, all the videos I have uploaded, that was in January of 2011. And, here we are over 10 years later. I haven't been creating videos and uploading them consistently for 10 years. I have for the last 2 years. And even if you look at that first video I did 2 years ago when I started being consistent, I've come a long way since then as well. So it's all about putting this into action. And the more that you do it, the better you get. So it's important that you're just constantly showing up for your audience. And then also it's about driving targeted free traffic to your website or your YouTube channel or your social media platform, wherever you're posting your video content. So creating consistency, how you can go about doing this is planning ahead. And I will show you an example of a content calendar so you can kind of see an example of like how I would recommend you plan it out. Okay, so also in creating consistency, the second thing is creating content tiers. So just know that there is power and freedom in planning, that when you plan and you know exactly what's going to happen, not only is it being organized, but it's freeing because now you know exactly what you need to do when you need to do it. Talked about this, throughout the week, and it's all about building up the know, like, and trust so that people will buy from you. Most people don't buy from people or brands they don't trust. Now, a lot of times, if it's like Amazon, you're not buying from a person, you're buying from a company, but that company also, along with the people as part of that company, had to do things in order to help build trust so that you would buy from them and continue to come back. So even if it's a B2B or B2C type situation, purchasing pattern, then trust is always going to be important. So video marketing on social media. These are the 4 that I'm going to talk about today. Like I mentioned, YouTube's 15 years old. I didn't realize that it had been around that long, but it's the second largest search engine in the world behind Google, who happens to own YouTube. So another reason why creating videos and putting them on YouTube, there's just beyond that in itself is the whole SEO. And 54% of adults 18 plus identify as male versus female. Visitors spend an average of 19 minutes a day. 22% are users or of users are accessing via mobile. So that's good to know. 72% of Facebook users also use YouTube, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The reason why that's important is the whole thing with your video content and just your content strategy and understanding where your ideal customers are spending time. Very little, I should say, probably a fraction of the population actually invest time in just one platform, and that's it. People are 53% more likely to buy from a business using live chat, and that's something that you can automate. So we move on to LinkedIn. They're the OG of the social media platforms. They turned 19 this year, so that's crazy. I can't believe they've been around that long. They've evolved a lot since then, but they still have a lot of opportunities to move past where they are today. Available in 24 languages. LinkedIn saw a 55% increase in conversations among connections in 2020. And I believe that might be COVID related. Content creation increased 60% in 2020. LinkedIn live streams, the whole video thing and going live on LinkedIn or using a third-party app to stream to LinkedIn increased by 437%. That's crack of time. Instagram is celebrating 12 years this year. They're the 7th most visited app in the world, 4th most used platform behind Facebook, WhatsApp, and YouTube. 2nd most downloadable app in the world because TikTok was number 1. 9 out of 10 users watch IG videos weekly. So if people are watching videos and you're going to be on Instagram, maybe do stories. That might be the place you need to spend your time. And I am going to show you something here real quick with Reels. 500 million accounts use Instagram stories. So there's a lot of people using them. So you're fighting for that attention. But again, it's about using the hashtags. It's about creative content. It's about calls to action and also your audience. 58% of users say they are more interested in a brand after seeing it in a story. But the reason why I share all of this with you for the different social platforms is because there's so much opportunity, and it's understanding the different platforms, who's spending time where, and then how you can take your brand, your message in video format and fit it into one of those that's going to make sense for you because you need to enjoy what you're doing. So you identify who you're targeting. And I have a worksheet included in my video marketing acceleration program that you can use that'll actually help walk you through that process so that you can create momentum. Is, of course, your mindset. You have to be in the right mindset to say, I really want to do this, and here's how I'm going to do it. If I don't know how to, here are the steps I'm going to take to learn it, right? So it's all about mindset, making sure that you have the topics, the tips that we talked about for getting started, knowing who your ideal customer is and where to post. That, of course, is critical. And then again, the importance of creating consistency. So the 5 things that I've talked about today, thinking about the order, what works for you, and then doing those things, the key is actually putting those into practice is what's going to help create momentum. So taking action and then creating momentum. So creating habits is really key because we always have really good thoughts when we start to do something, but the key is putting it into motion. But the new research is saying it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days. The average is 66 days. I look at that as you need to, we're always doing something anyway. So chances are you have to undo a habit first before you can create a new habit.
If you want to learn more on one or all days, click the link in the description or show notes, depending on where you're tuning in from, and you'll receive the replay links. These replays are only available through next Monday, March 28th. So if you're not sure about getting those links, or if you want to subscribe, go ahead, get access to the replays. So at least you have them if you decide you want to get started with video or learn more about how to take video strategy and your business to the next level. If you're listening to this after March 28th, 2022, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast or YouTube channels so you know when the next challenge takes place. I will announce it here like I did the previous ones. Also, share this with someone who might be thinking about starting videos for their business, or maybe they're struggling with where to begin. And don't forget to hit like so that other people like you can also find it. You're just helping the algorithm, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and your time investing it in this channel. And until next time, I'm Vicki O'Neill. Make today great.